Assalamu alaikum, namaste, hotep, shalom alaikum, peace. This is Tracy Lene Muhammad, and I wanted just a few minutes of your very valuable and precious time to talk to you about healthy self-esteem and what it might look like and what it might not look like. Of course, I'm in no way telling you that if you do something that I don't agree with, that it means you have low self-esteem. I don't get to decide that. Only you can decide why you're doing things. But there's some universal things that show if somebody feels good about themselves. And one of those things is when they speak well about other people. If you are the type of person who, when you meet somebody, you immediately look for the negative in them, you don't have healthy self-esteem. I'm saying that because when you look at someone, the first thing you see is yourself. You see a trait of yourself in them. Whether we accept that or not, next time you are looking at someone or thinking about something or involved with someone, ask yourself, if they kind of annoy you, ask yourself, is that something in you that one, you've either told you annoy other people with? And I'll give you an example. I used to talk over people. If they were talking about something and a thought came in my mind, I would just start blurting out what I had to say. I wouldn't listen to them. And that annoys people. Well, I got cured of it because I have a friend who does the same thing. I never get a word in. So I recognize that's what other people see in me. And I stopped doing it. I'm much better at it. I didn't do it because I think I'm so such a much and nobody should talk but me. I was very excited, and she does it because she's just very excited, and I wanted to talk instead of learning to listen. For me, it came from a childhood or a conception of not being wanted. So, and my mother loves me now. Don't get me, my mother loves me. But can you imagine being 16 and pregnant? Nowadays you can, but I'm 51. So if you're old enough to remember, back then people didn't look highly upon girls who got pregnant so young. I lost the stone in this. This was Tiger's Eye. It came out during my photo shoot. I'm wearing a jumpsuit that I just made, and I'm selling it, of course. But the stone came out. Hopefully it'll show up again. But if it doesn't, wherever it is, I know that it's where it's supposed to be. But so my self-esteem was very low. So I felt like I had to always be proven that I deserved to be on the planet. And by just speaking over people and saying what I had to say, was one of the ways. And I don't mean argumentative, because I don't like to argue. I don't like confrontation. It doesn't make me feel good inside. And what I also found, that because I didn't like it, it was because I wasn't dealing with it, because I didn't feel that I was worthy. And so I often met people who like to argue and who would, no matter what I say, find a way to make it into an argument. And it would leave me feeling depleted. When I started to do the work on myself by studying and fasting and finding out what Tracy really wanted, not what somebody else told me I wanted, but what does the soul of Tracy want? And being confident enough to do that, my self-esteem went up. I know that lots of times when people are in relationships, they believe that it's okay to own the other person, to say, you belong to me. I don't believe that anymore, because now that I love myself, I belong to me. And while I share myself with my husband and with my family, I belong to myself. And that's a healthier relationship. So I can put boundaries up. And if my boundaries are crossed, I have some decisions to make, and I'm not afraid to make them anymore. I'm honestly in a space where I'm not afraid to be with just Tracy. Notice I didn't say alone, because I'm never alone, because as long as I got me, I got all I need. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way and that I don't love my family, because I do. And I know that my children won't cross my boundaries because they love me. And when people really love you, they don't cross your boundaries. When people love themselves, they don't cross your boundaries. And they can only love you in as much as they love themselves. So, but if I'm in any relationship and the boundaries are crossed, I make decisions now different from Tracy of 10 years ago that just laid on the ground and then got mad when people walked all over me. You're laying on the ground, you're a doormat. So I got up off the ground. When I started to recognize that healthy self-esteem you can have very healthy self-esteem and post a lot of selfies of yourself. That doesn't mean you don't have healthy self-esteem. You know the reason you're posting them. If you're posting them so that other people can give you accolades, then perhaps your self-esteem needs some working on. If you're posting them because you like the pictures and you want to put them out there, I say that well, it's not for me to decide, but I do think that when every hour you're taking a picture of yourself in the same pose and people have seen that one, you might want to ask yourself why. But I'm not telling you don't have healthy self-esteem. What I'm telling you is, for me, having healthy self-esteem means I post selfies. Yes, it does. It means when I'm taking pictures in the clothes that I make, I post lots of it. It means that I'm doing the videos that I'm doing to try to help other people because I have healthy self-esteem. I recognize now that another part of healthy self-esteem, not only is it not thinking I own other people, but not snooping in their life. It's not my business. If they don't tell me, then they don't want me to know. I don't have to go looking. You really never have to go looking for anything. Nobody is ever doing anything to you. They're doing it to themselves. And while it may spill over in your life, if you decide not to accept it, it doesn't affect you. Of course, if you have a partner and they're laying with somebody else and they bring you back a disease, then yes, you've gotten that disease. So I'm not saying you can pretend like you don't have it and it's gone away, but you can decide to move on from that partner and do what you need to do with the disease that, they brought you. But even in that, they're going to get more. More is going to come to them for bringing you that. Because when you lie and you don't give that person the ability to choose whether they want to bring somebody else into their body, you have double shit that you're going to get. One, for breaking your vow, especially if you're married, if you took marriage vows to the God of your understanding, you broke your vows, and those vows come with a consequence. And if you do bring somebody something, that comes with a consequence too. But you don't have to snoop to see, because it's going to come to light. It's going to come to light. Anything you're doing is going to come to the light, and then people can make the decision on what they want to do with it. You don't have to get somebody's phone and sneak through and get their passwords and look. And let me tell you, when you do that, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your organs. Check it out. The next time you do it, if you're somebody just not going to listen, you're going to do it. Look at how fast your heart beats when you're going through somebody's stuff. Look at how you start to breathe a lot heavier, and you may even start to sweat, because you're building up a lot of negative anticipation of what you're going to find, which if you're looking, it's probably there. You ain't even got to look. But let's say you feel your gut is telling you that something is there. Just go with your gut and make decisions based upon your gut. But when you go into somebody else's private space and look, you are now showing that you don't have the highest self-esteem. And I don't know, that's just coming to me to say, what I try to do before I do a video is I just meditate and ask the Divine Mother to tell me what it is I should speak about, what I should say, because I'm going to be doing this every day for the next 5 years. If I only have 31 people listening, I've made the commitment to do it for the next 5 years. So that's what I'm going to do, keep my commitment to doing it. I know that I have a lot to share. We all do, because we all have so much that we've been through, that we've grown through, that we can share with others. I heard a pastor say once, and I agree with this 100%, you can learn something from everybody. I don't care what station of life there is, you can learn. Even if all you learn is that's not what you want to do with your life, you still learn something. I don't think we should ever judge people or decide that the way they're living their life is something that we get to tell them how to live it. Of course, when you have children, you want to guide them, but at the end of the day, they have to make their own choices. If you've given them all of the tools, all you can do is to have given you the tools. That's even with your friends and your family. You can give them the tools. You can say, when I had this issue, this is what I used. Maybe it'll work for you. But then you have to step back and allow them the opportunity to either take it or let it alone, and not get yourself and get your panties in a knot and get all upset if they choose not to do what you told them to do. It's not your life. You got your life. For me, living my own life authentically means allowing other people to live theirs authentically. And if it's what they're doing doesn't feel right for me, then I just have to let them go. I live my life through feeling, because to me, feeling is what it's about. Now, I don't do what I want to do. I do what I feel to do. And for me, the difference is the feeling comes from my soul, and it's a nagging energy, not a bad nagging, but saying, do it, do it, do it. And it feels like the right thing to do. A want is something that is impulsive. And that's how I live my life. I'm not saying that works for you. For me, a want would be, I may want to eat some foods that look good, but I know that ultimately they're not healthy for my body. So I feel that that's not the right thing to do, so I don't do it. I'll give you an example of a want for the world. You may be married and Idris Elba walks in the room and you may want to sleep with him, but you feel that that is wrong because you know you're married and Idris is married. Not to mention, you don't even know him. All you know is he's good looking and he's an actor, but you don't know him. But you want to do it because your flesh is saying he's fine. And so if you go with your want, you're probably going to ruin your marriage. And I don't know if he'll ruin his, but he ain't gonna leave his wife for you. So no, married men. Married men don't leave their wives for other women. They don't, unless they just don't want to be married anymore, and they might leave, but they usually jump around from woman to woman. Of course, there's 8 billion people on the planet, so I can't be speaking for everybody, but I was listening. I was on Facebook the other day in the Red Table Talk, and a young lady was talking about that she's with a married man. He's been married 19 years. He's miserable with his wife. His wife doesn't do this, this, and this. And, you know, of course, all of the comments were like, girl, you stupid. And truthfully, she is stupid. It is a stupid woman to think that you are going to make this man happy. Nobody makes anybody happy. So if he's not happy with his wife, he has some options. He says it's because they have children together and the children are 15 and 17. And he would never leave his children. He doesn't have to leave his children because he can still be in his children's life and have this woman who makes him so incredibly happy. He doesn't know what he'd do without her. That's what he's telling her, and she's believing it. I do not believe that that's the case, just based upon case after case after case scenario with men that cheat on themselves. And I say cheat on themselves because truthfully, they're doing that to themselves, because if they have an amazing wife, she probably is going to wake up and walk away from him. She may wake up and stay. I don't know. It's up, but there's just going to have to be some changes. But anyway, I just really wanted to come to you and talk to you about healthy self-esteem. And you know if you have it or not. If you're the type of person, when you meet somebody, you see the negative in them first, you need to work on your self-esteem for yourself. If you are the type of person, when somebody brings you something amazing that's happening in their life, you immediately go, why doesn't it happen in my life? You need to work on your self-esteem. You really do. And you can work on it without telling anybody, and you don't have to feel bad about it. It's just something that's inside of you that needs to come out of you. I don't know. It could be something from your childhood, your adulthood. It could be something that you brought here in your soul that just needs healing. But healthy self-esteem has you to live the 4 agreements. 1, to be impeccable with your own word. 2, not to take anything anybody does personally. 3, not to make any assumptions. And 4, to do your best at everything. When you're showing up in life with the 4 agreements at the forefront, you will have an amazing life. Doesn't mean it will be trial-free. That just can't happen. You have to have trials in your life. But the trials don't have to so overtake you. When you are authentic in the way you show up, things will knock the air out of you. They will. But if you breathe again, if you just take another deep inhale, you can exhale again. Of course, I'm not talking about those things that are like life-changing murders and rapes. I'm not talking about that. I'm not qualified to talk about that. I'm speaking to those little annoyances in life that we make big annoyances. But if we just recognize that we live in a state of gratitude all the time, everything just happens for you. And I would suggest, if you are dealing with like those deep-rooted things, murder or rape or abuse, that you seek out people who can help you with that. And you allow yourself to be helped, and you allow yourself to, 1, forgive yourself if you're the one that did it, and if you're the one that it came through, that you forgive those people, not because it's going to take away what's going to happen to them, because it's not. Whatever you or I do, it belongs to us. So no matter what a person does, they will find the consequence. It will. They will. Nobody is getting away with anything. You don't have to curse them. You don't have to prey on them. You don't have to hate them. They are going to get theirs. This universe is set up with a balance. And because you may not see the balance right away, doesn't mean there's not a balance. It means that you don't see it. The Holy Quran is very clear. Don't you worry about what somebody else is going to encounter for what they've done. You just worry about you. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. The Bible says the same thing. We all are going to have to answer. You reap what you sow. So watch what you're sowing. I like to sew clothes. That was a good intro, right? I'm tie-dye. I didn't tie-dye the jumpsuit, but I did tie-dye the dress. If you go on Instagram or Facebook, my Instagram or Facebook, you can see it. And I tie-dyed the dress myself. The fabric for this jumpsuit, I bought tie-dyed. I can make either one for you. I would love to. It would be an honor to see you in something that I made. You have an amazing and absolutely faithful day. You just believe in yourself. Have healthy self-esteem. Decide that you are worth it and you are never alone. You are with you. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, hotep, shalom alaikum, peace out to Brooklyn and everywhere else.